So on the previous episode, we covered all the warning signs that were present from the jump that doomed the classic Gothic reboot even before Universal Studios could fabricate their quote-unquote monster Avengers. If that sounds ridiculous, congratulations, you're catching on. Now, let's take a look at the competition, or lack thereof, that Marvel faced after its crossover sensation and how they fared with their own Xeroxed attempts to cash in. I'd like to now take a step back to how other studios reacted when they saw what was on the horizon for the first Avengers event, and especially after its $1.5 billion box office. It's hard to remember, even looking back a decade ago, that there were in fact 3 other studios that had their own superhero films even before Marvel's major pop culture phenomenon. It's hard remembering because not only did the Avengers represent such a quantum leap in terms of impact and appeal, but bear in mind, 2 of the 3 competing film companies even owned the rights to other Marvel characters, with Fox's X-Men and of course, Sony's Spider-Man. So, what was the game plan to provide an answer to Marvel's blockbuster spectacle? Why, to shamelessly copy their same formula, you dunce! Haven't you been listening? And boy, the places that they went. Fox attempted to be the first to the finish line by presenting their bluish brute boss battle and cut every corner imaginable to debut Apocalypse. When they weren't botching the reveal of such a beloved villain, they were straight up lying to fans with Days of Futures Past, with a crossover of the First Class generation working with the OG X-Men. Yeah, watch that movie again. There is no team-up. The only interactions between past and present were Wolverine and Charles Xavier, which, if you ever saw the movie Logan, you know those are the only 2 characters that this franchise ever gave a damn about. Sony, taking the nuanced approach of the 3, instead opted to go all in, and, noticing a wall named Bad Ideas, dove in teeth first. Not being able to resist that siren song of Avengers money, they said to themselves, hey, we're Sony, and love doing things more than once. We've already rebooted Spider-Man, so why not botch another attempt at a Sinister Six after we couldn't even get it off the ground with the Sam Raimi trilogy? And botch they did. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 proved such a brain hemorrhage that not only did they have to reboot their prize horse character 2 years later after rebooting him 2 years prior, his only saving grace was in the crossover film of the studio they were trying to compete with.
Brilliant! Brilliant!
As far as DC is concerned, Jesus, do I even? If anyone watching this believes that the previously mentioned, previously released Snyder Cut is any kind of redemption for Warner Brothers, unchecked money grubbing over fast-tracking a hero team-up, bypassing standalone setup, and ultimately makes amends for Joss Whedon's butchering of the Justice League movie, you do realize that DC never learned their lesson to stop copying Marvel, right? Because I can assure you, they most certainly kept at it, one failed attempt after another. Instead of the team-up film, they did the heroes battling each other, and you got Batman vs. Superman in 2016. That same year, the Suicide Squad failed to materialize into DC's Guardians of the Galaxy. The Shazam experiment to show a more lighthearted side of the DC comics was shown the door and left the box office with empty pockets. Margot Robbie's sexist vanity project, The Collapse of Harley Quinn, crashed and burned any hopes she had to be the female Deadpool. And that stroke of genius came out just last year. Look, I could go on, but this is one of the biggest points of this shared universe circus. Not even Marvel's biggest competitors were successful at this endeavor, so why would anyone think it a good idea that Fear Fiction should enter this arena just to get served to the lions like the other participants? Furthermore, to attempt to adapt a Caped Crusader formula into a monster genre when it isn't even your area of expertise was asinine. This ain't open mic night. It was a blood sport with how bad Marvel mopped the floor with these studios when they weren't even trying. So with that in mind, enough with the heroes and let's get back to the horrors.
Warn your friends. Warn everyone.